Hey, you looking for something sweet to sink your teeth into for the month of October? Well, we've got a Kickstarter to highlight today by Dystopiamatt. Yes, that's right, Fearsome Wilderness. This game has itself all kinds of juicy little 3D printable elements. A story-driven campaign set to last for 12 sessions or all the way up to 24. Super ridiculously creepy looking critters based on folklore legends. And art that's gonna knock your socks off. Let's dive into it. Hey everybody, Jester here from Jester's 3D Tabletop Gaming. If you're new to the channel, hi, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. If you've been around for a bit, thank you ever so much. I definitely appreciate every single one of you. Alright, so really ridiculously cool thing here. I managed to get a demo copy of Fearsome Wilderness from Dystopiamatt, and I'm thrilled about that. I gotta sink my teeth into this game, and I gotta say, I'm very pleased. This game, all of your classic folklore heroes are essentially trying to escape the greed and corruption of the big cities, and they're trying to escape to the wilderness, the peace, serenity, the nice, calming, rushing waters. But they don't get that. Oh no. Oh no. They get creepy critters that lurk through the night, waiting to kind of grab you by the ankle and pull you through the woods. Did I mention the woods are just as ferocious and dangerous, also granting the ability to cause you nightmares while you sleep, and being able to spring up from the ground overnight as if just by magic. So needless to say, these folklore heroes don't get their nice, comfy retreat into the wilderness. But what they do get is a fantastic 1 to 4 player cooperative board game that plays out ever so nicely. You've got yourself 4 awesome folklore heroes. You've got yourself Calamity Jane, Babe the Blue Ox, Paul Bunyan, and Johnny Appleseed. Each of these 4 characters have their own special perk. These games are generally going to last you between 50 to 60 minutes as recommended by Dystopiamatt, although I did see games lasting half an hour all the way up to an hour and a half. Mind you, the hour and a half game was when we were brand new to the game and learning the rules, just like any game really. It's played out in a set of 12 missions, and these missions are a lot of fun. They've got themselves a nice cool campaign feeling to it. The general premise of this game is to build a log cabin so that you can survive the harsh winters. When you first start the campaign, you'll probably be building the foundations and laying the groundwork to be able to establish your log cabin down in the future. But the campaign is so well written that it gives you the nice juicy tidbits. In one episode, you might be working towards gathering logs so that you can actually build the foundation. We even had one session that was crazy enough to have us trying to protect a jar of sourdough starter. And the fun thing about that one was that they actually gave you the directions on how to make a real sourdough starter. And it's simple things like that that really make me feel attuned to a board game. I felt like I had a connection to this game because the rulebook is so well put together, and the artwork is so inspiring, and the quirkiness that this game contains is just awesome. So when this does launch as the Kickstarter in October, it's going to be kind of released in different sections. You can get yourself a fully physical copy, with the added option of getting the STL files so that you can 3D print as much as you want for this game. Or you could go with the completely digital version, which is going to get you just all of the digital files, and all of the cards and everything you need to be able to be printed at home. That's a pretty cool option. I really like the artwork in this game, both in the STL files and the cards themselves. Creatures like jackalopes, the bald-tailed cat, the doofus bird, the dung-haven hooter, the hodag, the squonk, and what about the splinter cat? You don't want to be making fun of their names though, because they're going to give you some awfully super-duper creepy nightmares. Nightmares in this game are how you're going to be taking damage in the night aspect of this game. And I gotta say that they're very cleverly put together. The nightmares are written out as kind of a choose your own how to wake up adventure, where essentially you're going to look up a creature and then kind of just read a really weird, strange, awesome nightmare effect. And you might get the chance to wake up early, and if you do, the added status ailments aren't going to be that bad. But the longer you stay asleep, the worse the effects are going to get. They're really fun. They definitely recommend to have the opposing player read these off to you so that you're not reading the nightmare yourself. Although I love this principle, and it is a lot of fun, in the 5 sessions that we had played, I don't think we really repeated any of these a whole lot. I would imagine once you've played a boatload of this game, they might get boring over time. But that's always something that could possibly be part of the Kickstarter, is additional nightmares down the road for each enemy. Although I don't know if that's going to be an option or not. So the great thing about this board game is Dystopiamatt and his team are actually trying to get you to play this game the way you want to in terms of how it's going to look. Do you want the board to just be bare bones and just use the tokens and cards that you need to represent what they need to be? Or do you want to actually build your campaign to be something exciting? Something where it has personality and depth? They're already planning on having a whole bunch of STL files for rocks and trees and wells and all kinds of cool things, like even an outhouse, because all board game characters and video game characters need a place to poop. But it's up to you in terms of how far you take this board. Are you going to add to it every game? So when you start the campaign, you've got this bare-boned, minimalistic looking thing, and by the end of the campaign, you have this sprawling chamber of buildings and lean-tos and tents and fireplaces. They really want you to use your imagination in this game. He specifically said, try and play this from a narrative standpoint. So me and my friends, all being very heavily into role-playing games, definitely took this to the fullest degree. We had ourselves a very good time getting into the roles of our character. Well, I'm Calamity Jane, and I'm gonna wander off into the forest there, and I'm gonna have a real good time. I'm hoping I'm gonna get myself a couple logs or so because we need to get working on this foundation real quick. But when suddenly a roll goes poorly, and she takes damage. Oh, help! My leg! I gone down and tripped. I tripped right on that stub right there. I stubbed a toe. I did. I stubbed it real fierce. Totally optional. But it definitely makes the game a lot more fun. Especially when you're playing with the right friends. Alright, so let's talk about the actual gameplay. So this game is played in a day and night cycle. During the day phase, you're going to have the ability to be able to eat and drink, and if you do not do so, you're going to take damage. But if you're by the well or the beach, you're gonna not have to worry about drinking because there's water readily available. If you have excess food, you can also heal yourself. And if you had any trees planted from the previous day, they're gonna magically sprout out from the earth. Probably terrifying Johnny Appleseed. Then you're gonna plant new trees. New trees are needed so that you can get yourself lumber down the road. Then you're all gonna do your movement. You can move up to 2 spaces unless you have a status effect that's going to say otherwise. And then you're going to do the fun stuff, and that's roll the folk hero dice. And that's how all of your accumulation of food and water, damage, the ability to chop down trees is going to come from. Then enters the night phase. This is where the critters come out to play. First of all, if there's any overnight effects, that's going to get dealt with, and they're generally not a lot of fun. Fun for your characters, that is, because they definitely generally cause damage. And then if you're on a tile with another critter, you're going to get nightmares. And like I said, nightmares are a lot of fun. They're cool, they're crazy, they're very interesting, and they're very well written. Next up, the critters get a move. And they move closer. And then the next step is more critters spawn. That's right. And then the next step after that is the potential for more critters spawning. There could be a lot of critters on this board game, and it's terrifying. And there's only the 7 days in a week. This is a game where you have to definitely manage your ability to make your goals be met in time. One failed mistake, and it could cause disaster. So the great thing about the day phase is that all of your players get to move how they want. There's no turn sequence. If you're on the same space, you can openly swap resources, which is really nice, and definitely almost a requirement to play later on successfully. Making sure to swap out some meat before Johnny Appleseed continues on to his own, or giving Babe some extra water because he's going to be moving away from the well. So once the night's complete, you go back onto day, progress the day tracker, and continue until the week is complete or you've met your objective. So in saying all of that, I've had a lot of fun with this game. I've played myself 5 solid sessions, and my friends and I have thoroughly enjoyed this. All of them were completely blown away by the fact that this game was really exciting to play. And they can't wait to finish this campaign and seek it out to the end because they're very curious to see how this plays out. And I am as well. I gotta say thank you, Dystopiamatt, for giving me the chance to rock a demo copy of your game, and I hope your Kickstarter crushes it in October because I thoroughly enjoyed this game, and I know my friends did as well. Once this Kickstarter goes live, I'm gonna be dropping a link in the description below. If you haven't already, go and check out his Instagram, because he's always uploading pictures of this game. So if you're looking for a board game with some 3D printable elements, a whole lot of character, and a designer who's very passionate about his game, definitely don't miss out on Fearsome Wilderness, because it's pretty darn cool. Anyhow, I'm Jester, I had a good time. I hope you had a good time. Until the next time, bye-bye now. 2 videos right there for your viewing pleasure.